All righty, we should be live. Okay. I didn't see anything that said we are live, so I'm hoping we're live. Um, hmm.
People coming in.
No, not yet. Usually it tells me we're live. Oh dear. Let's see here. No, nobody's coming in yet. Okay. And usually, okay, yeah, we're going. Okay, we are live. Okay, we are live. Welcome, everybody. We're so happy that you're here. Thank you for coming. Our topic today is powerful. You're going to be happy that you joined. Our topic is embrace grit and resilience. Get ready to conquer the new year. We thought this topic would be appropriate right now, January 16th, because many people have decided to set goals and made resolutions. And guess what? Some people have, let's see here. I've got, there. There. Okay. All right. We got a little technical difficulty there. Some people have already thrown those out the window into the curb, and it's only the 16th of January. So, in order to be able to achieve what you want, what is really important to you, we all need grit and resilience. And we're here to help you do that. And I see that Danielle is here. So, hi, Danielle. Thank you for joining us. So, we're here to talk to you about that today. I'm Michelle Beauchamp. My company is called The Champ Group, where I partner with companies to help build better leaders of their organizations so that their people can thrive and have high morale and just decide that that's where they want to stay. So that's what I do. And by the way, I'm excited because I am an author of a new book called Relearn Leadership. And so welcome. Thank you for joining us. And what we want you to do is what Danielle did, is we want you to put in the comment section that you're here. And as we're going through the program, we want you to ask questions and check in with us to see what kind of questions you have and what kind of thoughts you have and experiences you have with what we're going to talk about today. Hi, Denise. Great to see you. Okay, so I'm going to let you know who you're have the pleasure with of being with today. The people that we have on as our guests are impressive, and the time is going to go fast because they have so much wisdom to share. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. And Susan, I see you first, so I'm going to ask you to help them understand. What do you do, Susan? Who are you and what do you do?
My name is Susan Schwartz, and I work with those really expert independent contributors who get promoted for what they know and not necessarily their ability to build relationships or communicate effectively, and they end up failing up. So, and and as they're failing up, sometimes they behave badly, and HR gets wind of some of those behaviors that are not bad enough to get fired. And so I come in and I work with those expert folks to help them hone those skills because they were always evaluated on how smart they were and not necessarily those human sides. And I've been doing this for a long time. And about 6 years ago, I wrote a book called Creating a Greater Whole, a Project Manager's Guide to Becoming a Leader. And it's people have said, right on target. How did you know what I was thinking?
There you go. Because you've been doing it for a long time. You can see what was going on. There you go. So thank you, Susan, for saying yes to the invitation today. Trina, welcome back. Trina has been a guest with me this is the third time. And that's because she's so valuable. She always has such knowledge and wisdom to share. And so, but Trina, for those who don't know, tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, Michelle. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me, Michelle. Hey, I've got your book here. It's excellent. Got to give a little plug there. My name's Trina Fleming. I am with Lendistry. Lendistry is a small business lender. In fact, we are the only African-American-led small business lending company, non-bank, in the country ever. We specialize in providing capital and financial education to underserved small businesses and the communities in which they do business. My role as VP of Employee Engagement, Training, and Corporate Responsibility is to ensure that Lendistry's culture matches their strategic plans, and that the employee experience is always a great one. So thanks for having me back. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Thank you, Trina. Thank you for saying yes. And thank you for getting my book. Thank you. And we have Maria. Maria, please tell us who you are and what is it you do?
Thank you, Michelle. I am Maria Dwyer. I'm standing in for my partner, colleague, Vanessa Kelly, who has fallen a bit ill today. So thanks, Vanessa, for asking me to step in. I am in our Detroit office of Clark Hill. We're a full-service law firm with over 25 offices, 27, I think, currently, from East Coast to West Coast and Mexico City and Ireland. Full service, and my role is to lead our Detroit office, our headquarters, and I am an employment attorney. I work with companies, primarily HR executives, to create harmony in their workplaces.
That's a big role. And you know what? Thank you for saying yes at the last minute too, Maria. That took some courage. That took some grit. That required grit, because Vanessa, who's been with us a couple times as well, got that crud that so many people seem to be getting. And so, Vanessa, if you're on, we hope that you're feeling better. And Maria, we thank you for being with us today. So let's get into it. So grit, we're talking about grit. Here's what I remembered as we were preparing for this, is that several years ago, I came up with this acronym for grit, probably because I was trying to figure out, I need to be able to get what I want and do what I need to do to be able to make this happen. So I wanted to share with you a little bit about the acronym that I came up with. The G is for gratitude. For me, regardless if we're going through something, we just came out of something, we have to be grateful for what it is that we've got. It's opportunity for us to grow. So gratitude is one. The R stands for resilience. We have to have the ability to bounce back, have resilience. And the I is for integrity. And you know what? We have to think about, how important is it for us to be able to achieve this mission that we want to achieve? If so, then it's in integrity with us. So that's what we really want to be able to focus on. And then the T stands for tenacity. It takes tenacity to be able to accomplish what it is that we need. So that's a little bit about what grit means to me and to the audience. Be sure, go ahead and put in the comments, what does it mean to you? And go ahead and engage with us. Now, Trina, I'm going to come to you and ask you this first. True success, this is what you said as we were preparing. True success is based on controllable efforts. Trina, what do you mean by that?
You know, Michelle, I think too many times we focus on the end result. If we feel like if we meet the end result, we're a success. If we don't, then we're not. And that is just not true. You know, sometimes it's what you do to get to the end result. And you may not even make it to the end result. But everything you do, whether you're working hard, you're consistent, you're overcoming obstacles and challenges, each of those is a success. You know, one time someone told me, you cannot learn to sail unless there is wind. You can't learn to sail unless there is resistance. And every time you overcome that resistance, every time you do what it takes to learn to sail, every time you do what it takes to get toward your goal, that is a success. It should be celebrated, it's important. And like I said, even if you don't always meet the absolute goal, what they said, shoot for the moon, it's much better to land among the stars.
Yeah, I was just thinking that statement as you were saying that. I love that, because sometimes we measure our success by the result, like you said, the outcome, but it's the process that we need to pay attention to. And so,
and you know, Michelle, sometimes we can't always control the outcome, but we can control what we do to make it to the outcome.
Amen. Yeah. Hey, Barbara Ann, thank you for joining. She said there are multiple versions of grit. Yeah, I'm glad you like that one. Good, and you wrote it down. Thank you, Barbara Ann. Thank you. You're so awesome, Barbara Ann. Okay, so Trina, that is amazing what you just said. Audience, let's remember this. Our success is not determined by the outcome. And what did Trina say? We don't even have control over that most of the time. So thank you for that, Trina. And so I want to talk a little bit about resilience too now. And I came across this article recently, which funny enough, it came from of all magazines, Costco. But it had some good articles in it, and I wanted to share a little bit about this resilience. It said, navigating our hyper connected and stress filled lives requires increasing amounts of resilience, the ability to withstand emotional or physical difficulties. With practice, patience, and persistence, resilience can be learned. And so I thought that was really appropriate, right? And so now what I want to do is I want to ask you, Maria, while we're talking about that resilience and grit, help us understand a little bit about how you feel and what you've done to overcome obstacles. Because when we have the obstacles, the truth is they propel us to success. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely, Michelle. And to Trina's point of not being able to control the outcome, it's taken me a long time to realize I can't control other people. And what I can control is my own reaction or response to any adverse events that occur and impact my life. So I try and view each setback, because we all have them, as
Mhm.
character builders. It gives me the ability to relate to others, be compassionate, and to gain perspective. It's through our own setbacks that we learn, I think, our greatest lessons, which is what we're talking about. And a friend once told me during a difficult time, right after I had graduated from law school, that the setback that I was experiencing was really a character builder. And how boring would I be if I didn't have all of these opportunities to build my own character and to be able
Ah,
to relate to others?
I love it. I love that you decide to call them opportunities, right? Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And before we were having this before our conversation started, before we went live today, we were talking about some obstacles, and you were sharing some information, Maria, about obstacles that you have encountered when you first became the leader of the office that you lead. And so there are so many obstacles, and some more than others. I mean, sometimes we have disappointments, like, again, kind of going back to the goals that we set and the resolutions and the goals at the beginning of the year. We're going to get detours. We're going to have barriers. And so we are going to have obstacles that come our way. Are we going to say, oh, well, I guess I won't do that? Or are we going to have grit? Are we going to be resilient? And are we going to decide that it was worth it, the integrity, it was worth it to do it anyway? And people have different levels of obstacles, disappointments with not getting a client, disappointments with not making a goal, more health, loss of loved ones. So there are so many obstacles. Still, what that means is it's so important for us to be resilient. And let's see here. Denise, let me see what Denise said. Um, okay, Denise Hendon, I love the gratitude, which is a kind of self-empathy. Ooh, which help us calm our minds. Yeah, right. Thank you, Denise, and thank you again. Thank you for being here. And Denise focuses a lot on well-being as well. And so I'm going to come over here to, okay, so we talked about that. Okay, Susan. Um, I love when Susan said,
Oh no. Michelle?
Looks like Michelle may have had some technical difficulties. Susan, do you want to go ahead and share
Sure.
something
I want
about
and then a little
resilience
TY,
and
gritty, gritty.
Oh, there she is.
Do you want me to go ahead?
She may have gotten cut off again. Why don't you take it away, Susan?
Okay, well, I will. When I spoke with Michelle about grit and wrapping it around, I do a lot of work I call emotionally intelligent leaders. And emotionally intelligent leaders are awfully gritty people. And the difference that I make is not only do you need to be resilient, but you need to be resilient for your team. So I just can't say yes enough to what Trina and Maria have said. And so when I think about emotional intelligence, it's an action verb. And that's why I think being resilient and being gritty, you have to do it for other people as well as yourself. And what people say, well, how do I get more emotional intelligence? Well, you can't. We are who we are, but you can pay attention. So, emotionally intelligent, gritty leaders observe a situation, You evaluate it based on the information you have in front of you and your experience. And then you choose how you want to act to achieve the outcome that you want to have happen. And
I
that way,
love that, Susan. And I really love, I've never heard emotional intelligence is a verb. That, I think, is very eye-opening.
yeah,
Don't
I
you
mean,
think?
right.
We always think of it as something you have or you don't have. Can you just expand on that just a little bit more?
Sure, surely. I like to say, do you remember? I don't know if anybody remembers the Goldilocks story where a little girl ends up at the Three Bears house and she tastes one big bowl of porridge. It was too hot. She tasted another bowl of porridge. It was too cold. And then she tasted the third bowl and it was just right. And you can't have too much or too little emotional intelligence. You are who you are, and what you have is just right. And I use an assessment that measures 15 leadership traits. I mean, how do you measure humility? How do you measure patience or empathy? It's really hard to measure, but this assessment does it, and it's a balance. So, I have less impulse control than I might like, but I have a huge amount of reality testing. So I call it my jumping off the bridge syndrome. I think about jumping, but I know it'll hurt, so I don't. And so that's where you are who you are, and you make a decision if you bring somebody onto your team to help you balance yourself out, or maybe you can get training, read a book, get a coach, and you can, move that leverage a little bit, but you can't have too much.
That's
So
awesome. Hi, Michelle. We
I
were
just
just talking about emotional intelligence.
awesome. So I had to be resilient. All of a sudden, my internet went down. And so I can't tell you how happy I am that when I came back, you're there. And so that tells me hopefully the audience is there. That was bizarre. I had to be resilient. So
It's
I,
always something.
I'm
Well done.
telling you, I missed what you said about that, Susan, but I know that it was powerful. You were talking about emotional intelligence. Did you talk about the action steps that are needed? Is that what I missed?
Um, no, well, we were talking in general about how gritty leaders, I guess we did. Gritty leaders observe, evaluate, and choose. We're not
Okay.
blamers, right? We need to take action and own our actions.
I love that. You said we're not blamers. You know what I learned in Trina, Pastor Rick, what I learned from Pastor Rick so many years ago, the former head pastor of Saddleback Church. Blame is be lame.
That's so true.
Right, be lame. And so, yeah, awesome. And so, thank you all for carrying on. Okay, good, Denise. You all here. I know I'm glad it was weird. It's like, whoop, I was out. Okay, so awesome. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about then, see if this is good timing because I'm coming back in. But is it good timing now to talk about one step at a time, Trina?
Sure. And I think everything that we've already spoken to really leads into that. A lot of times we look at huge goals and, the end of the year and our final numbers, but we cannot discount the power of one step at a time, right? Even in our emotional intelligence, even in acting gritty. I may not know how gritty I'm going to be tomorrow, but I know what I'm going to do today. So I think sometimes leaders, especially leaders who are gritty, who are resilient, right? You have to look at it one step at a time and make that step the absolute best step it could be. Because it's nothing like, I'll give you an example. I opened a new puzzle. I like to do a new puzzle at least every year. And when you open that, 1,000 pieces, at first it's like, oh my gosh, what have I done? Why did I get this? I really don't even want to start this. One piece at a time. It looks like I'm not going to be able to finish it, but when I start doing it one piece at a time, I look back 30 days later or however long it took, the whole puzzle is done. And you know what? That's what we need to be more of. And not only that, and I love the way that Susan brought in about leaders. As leaders, we have to help our team move one good step at a time and appreciate that step, right? And overcome that challenge, whatever it is, and make each of those steps a celebration, and a part of our success.
Man, that was such a good example, Trina. I saw a picture that you posted on that puzzle, and you just taught me a good lesson because I'm really not good at puzzles because I'm not patient enough. And so one step at a time, that's such a good reminder for each of us. Break it down into chunks. Don't try and get it all done at one time. Yeah. And Denise said she likes blame, be lame. I think about let me put this in so you can see it. I think about takes instead of mistakes. Ooh,
Ooh, I like that.
that's good. Yeah. Ooh.
That's good.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Denise. So thank you for that lesson. See, audience, I told you, I mean, we have so much wisdom here. And see, we know some of these things, but we just forget them. And so this is such a good reminder. So I'm so glad that you chose to be with us today. Now, I'm going to ask you, Maria, how grit and resilience connect with inclusion at work.
Yes, and it absolutely does, because we never know what is in someone's, we say, invisible backpack. What are they bringing to the table that we may not know that is in their background and what they have experienced? And I think grit and resilience contribute to inclusion by promoting perseverance and adaptability. And so individuals who have these qualities are better equipped to overcome challenges in life and in the workplace. And so just being open as you're coming to the table and understanding that we all come from different places and have these different experiences will help you in getting success and overcoming obstacles and listening to others.
Yeah, and you're so true. I love what you said. What invisible backpack? Is that what you said?
Invisible backpack, yes.
I love it.
Wow, that's a really good metaphor, right? Because everybody's got stuff going on.
Yes, that's actually, I have to give a shout out to my partner. That's a Vanessa-ism.
Oh, is
It is.
so the invisible backpack? Yeah.
Yes. We have allyship training here, where we train our coworkers to stand up for others when they see something or hear something, and that individual may not feel comfortable speaking up on their behalf. And so to support one another. And we teach this invisible backpack concept when we're training folks to be allies for one another.
Yeah, I like that. That's awesome. And it's all
I
about
love that.
well-being.
And can I just say, I love the fact that you said it was invisible.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't go by what you see or how people seem to show up. And I think being prepared to give people some grace, because everyone is wearing an invisible backpack, I think is definitely an important part of being resilient and being a good leader.
And giving yourself grace. We don't often do that, right? We're toughest. We're our own toughest critics. We say this all the time. Giving yourself grace and talking to yourself as though as though you're talking to someone else. The harshness that we put on ourselves, we'd never say to our coworkers and friends, right? So give yourself the same grace that you give to others.
And that way you can unpack and make that invisible backpack lighter to carry.
Yeah. Yeah. So many great things are being said right now. The whole self-talk thing, like you said, some things that we say to ourselves, we would not say that to somebody else.
Right.
And so, right, we just wouldn't. So we really have to pay attention to our self-talk. I like what Michael had to say. Michael said, unconscious biases are part of the invisible backpack. Oh, that's, yeah, right. And Michael, thank you for saying that. And you know what you said, Maria, that's part of what y'all talk about when you talk about allyship. And that's it. We have to be so mindful of the biases that we have that we're bringing, right? We're bringing them and we're making judgments. And so if we just stop judging so much, then we'll be so much better shape. Denise has this question too. And thank you all for your engagement. What suggestions do you have for getting comfortable with discomfort? That's the one of the hardest things to do. Susan, did you have something?
I was going to say that kind of leads in to the next question.
Okay. So and then let me just see here what else we have. So we're coming to you, Denise. Vicky said, okay. Oh, Vicky. Okay. Thanks. There's a great TED Talk here on grit. So she has that. So she's put that in there. So the good news is these comments stay with the recording. So people will be able to access that. So that's good. So let me, Susan, come over here to you then. So in the emotional intelligence tools, which is going to tie in with the question that Denise had about being comfortable with uncomfortable conversations. So how do you want to respond to that? What do you have to share with us there, Susan?
Well, I really, when you talk about getting comfortable with discomfort, and sometimes you walk into a situation, and we talked about the three bears. Well, you say, mirror, mirror on the wall, do I belong in this room at all? And we're just not comfortable. And so I take, three tools that you can work on: being authentic, assuring clarity, and depending on your community. So
Say those again in case they're taking notes.
okay, we're going to look at behaving authentically, communicating with clarity, and I should say referencing, using, I'm not quite in, taking advantage of your community, activating. That's a good one.
There you go. Activating. That's good.
And so when you're in that room and you don't believe, like, Maria, when you got that fabulous promotion and you were like, do I really deserve it? Or you had to prove yourself to other people. The bottom line is you do have a spark. You need to tell yourself, I do belong here. And remind yourself, what is your magic power? What is it? What are your gifts that you're bringing to the table? You may not have all the gifts. We're all growing. We're all learning. But what got you there?
Mm-hmm.
And so once you're sitting up straight and you're using your own voice, how many of us, need to talk like an expert because somebody had a certain, jargon or certain tone? Don't be somebody else. Be yourself.
Yeah.
And as you're being yourself, communicate with clarity. And you want to keep it simple so that your message is received with the intention that you meant. And I call my communications GPS, because even though your message is the same, how you communicate it to your manager or senior partner, how you communicate it to a direct report, and how you communicate it with a colleague, who you're trying to beg, borrow, and steal resources from, you're going to put a slightly different frame to it. You're not being conniving, you're not being manipulative, you're meeting people where they are. And then the last part is activate your community, because chances are we're going to do something not perfect. And
good chance.
It's just not going to go well. So, you have those trusted people that you can go to, and they'll say, Susan, let's reframe that situation. Or they'll really buoy you up. I had a meeting with somebody, and it was a networking event, and he said, why should I talk with you? I was in tears. He was a money wealth manager, and he said, I only talk to people with $20 million. And I can't even imagine what that looks like. And I kind of did my best to get out of the lunch as quickly as I could. And I called my friend, and I was in tears. And my friend said, Susan, isn't it a shame that his mother didn't teach him any better?
Okay.
And in that moment, my community really helped me. So they're going to be there for you. And then they're going to be direct and kind when I need a little assistance to reframe.
Totally. Yeah.
And also when it comes with regards to community, I think both Trina and Maria mentioned this. Leadership is not a solo sport.
Not at all.
You can't lead on your own. You've got all these people, and they're depending on you, but you're also depending on them. And you're, collaborative environments where, just like emotional intelligence, you are who you are. So you have people that can make you that better person. And
100%.
and so it goes both ways, helping people bring out the best in themselves, and they will help you bring out the best in yourself.
So well
That's
said.
a pretty leader.
I tell you what, see, our time is already up. My goodness gracious. So audience, oh my goodness. I know you're happy you took the time and invested in yourself by coming today. And in case you want to connect with us and we want to encourage you to do that, then please reach out to us. This slide is here so that you can take a quick picture or write down our contact information. We would love to hear from you. And you see that, remember, Maria did a fabulous job stepping in at the last minute. So yay, Maria. And so Vanessa's picture and contact information is up here. We want to thank you all so much. Trina, thank you again for saying yes. Susan, thank you for saying yes. Maria, thank you for saying yes, because I know that what we did today was we shared some wisdom today. I know that we shared so much wisdom today, and I want to thank you all for that. I want to ask for you again to join us again on February 13th. There'll be some different guests, different topic. What we're going to talk about on February the 13th is, in recognition of Black History Month, we're going to talk about actually some challenging conversations around diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. That's what we're going to talk about on February 13th. So we invite you to come. And again, our time is up. So my words for the year, and I guess we don't have time to talk about it, but my words, I have two. One is elevate, and the other one is celebrate. So what I want to ask each of you to do is to really contemplate and put into action what it is that you will do to elevate yourself and everything that you're trying to do. And then how will you celebrate it? That's what I want to ask you to do, because don't forget to celebrate and remember, one day at a time. So thank you all so much for everything that you provided today. And audience, again, we thank you so much. And we have lots of people saying, thank you. This was awesome. Charlotte, I missed the contact.
Thank you, Michelle.
We'll get it. Yeah, let me put this up here. Okay, I'll put this up here again real quick. And there you go. Did it come? No. There we go. Okay, so there's a contact slide again. And for those of you that have to go, please enjoy the rest of your day. And remember to embrace grit and resilience and conquer this year. Thank you all. I'm going to end the